All right. 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Welcome back, everybody, to our Elden Ring lore playthrough. Which is where we do a playthrough, and I explain the lore as it comes to us rather than all at once, because if I explained the lore all at once, then that would get done by the time I finished one area, and then there's like 5 more areas of the game, and then, it's nice to have a little something to look forward to, so I can hold the viewers hostage and force them to come back. Please, I'm so lonely. Keep me company. Anyway, let's go over a little quick recap. We went through most, if not pretty much all of Limgrave, with the exception of the Stormvale Castle. And we got teeny tiny itty bitty amounts of lore given to us. Basically, that Stormfront Castle is currently occupied by one of the deities, well, demigods, I should say, a child of America and or Godfrey. Godric the Grafted, who is pretty much the weakest of the demigods that are out there roaming the world, and he is apparently using the art of grafting to try and either strengthen himself or his warriors in order to eventually try and get somewhere in the world, but for the time being, he is our first target, and basically, we've been told he's the weakest. Basically, hey, this is the absolute weakest person you can find, so, go ahead and kick his ass. Okay, so, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, because we are currently right next to a site of grace, we're going to move ourselves over to the Church of Ella real quick, so that I can upgrade my weapons a little bit. And by my weapons, I mean my Uchigatana. My business sword. Because, as the Round Table Hold, a place we haven't been to yet, but everyone knows about, has not been unlocked for us yet, and won't be unlocked for us as I do things in this particular fashion for a little while. Oh, that's +3 is as good as I can do for that one, huh? It hurts a little bit. Anyways, I was saying, as I cannot make my way over to the Round Table Hold until certain conditions are met. Those conditions being, for those that don't know, you unlock the Round Table Hold by activating and sitting at a site of grace outside of Limvale and or the Weeping Peninsula. So until I've made my way to Liurnia or Caelid or the Altus Plateau or any other location and activated a waypoint there, we are not going to be invited into the Round Table Hold. Which is kind of rough for a lot of people, because a lot of people did not figure out that they could upgrade their weapons right here. So a lot of people went through the early game at just +0 on their weapon. You know what? We've been using the Morningstar a bit. We can make that a +3. There we go. Can you take a quick peek into Caelid for this? Yes, you sure can. If you make your way into Caelid just far enough to activate one site of grace, and I think there's one like right around here, that counts. Or if you go around here to the bypassing route, go past Castle Stormvale, behind it, and then activate and sit down at a grace there in Liurnia, that also counts. Oh, so I'm just avoiding it. Yes. Sort of. One thing that I am specifically trying to do is make sure I don't accidentally trigger something that I don't want to happen in a side quest. until I'm ready for it to happen. Yeah, I gotta go around. Because anyone that's played one of these FromSoft games knows how goddamn sensitive these side quest activations are. So it's not particularly difficult to accidentally mess up and trigger something that forces a side quest into a place you don't want it to be, or you miss something because of it. It's not hard at all for that to happen. And the easiest way in Elden Ring to prevent yourself from doing such a thing is actually just to... I'm gonna kill this thing again. Just to make sure that you do not... Aw, I was hoping for its weapon. You do not accidentally make your way into a locale before you have already done the triggers you're looking for with your side quests. And there are some triggers that I think can get messed up if I don't start them in Stormvale. Because Stormvale's a big place, it's got a couple of NPCs for us to go talk with. Guardian Greaves. Let's take a look at those. Engraved golden greaves, worn by the guardians of the minor Erd trees. In accordance with an ancient pact with the Erd tree, it is said that their deaths led not to destruction, but instead to renewed eternal life as guardians. Hey, that does give us a little bit of lore about these guys. They die, but they live on as guardians with a pact from the Erd tree, and you can tell because they have a big fucking branch sticking out of their back. So if anything, the Erd tree almost acts like a parasite to these things, taking over its body and then forcing it into servitude as a guardian. Legally distinct from those who live in death. Yes, it is literally the exact same thing. In concept, at least. You died, but then this thing said, nah, you get to live even though you're dead. But the difference is that these guys have a big branch growing out of their back, so the Erd tree gives a thumbs up, and because the Erd tree is giving it the thumbs up, they're like, everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. The mausoleum prowls, cradling the soulless demigod. O Marika, Queen Eternal, he is your unwanted child. The Church of Pilgrimage. Elena, do you have some dialogue here? Yeah, you do. She usually has dialogues at churches.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you?
Yes'm.
In Marika's own words, then, after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden ring, grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
Alright, so that is a continued dialogue from the last time we sat down at a church and spoke with her. She's giving us the rundown of the history of the Tarnished. Because at one point in time, according to what she just said, the Tarnished were the warriors of Lord Godfrey, one of the Elden lords, and father of several of the demigods out there. So, this is Melina confirming for us that the Tarnished people are descendants of Godfrey themselves in some way, shape, or form, or at least part of his warrior clan. They had their grace stripped from them, and then they were exiled from the lands between. But This dialogue tells us that Marika said that someday you will be guided by grace to return the grace to you. I will give back what was taken, come back, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring. Which means that Marika seemed to always have some sort of plan in action to bring Godfrey and his people back to the Lands Between, given some sort of catalyst. And that's why the Tarnished were extended the Grace of Gold, and have made their way back to the Lands Between. Now, we don't know exactly what it is that Marika plans for the Tarnished to do, why she decided to set this entire convoluted thing up when she already had Godfrey and his warriors. But it's clear that she planned for great warriors to be brought back to the Lands Between, because she told them, while you are outside, wage war, grow strong, die, and one day you will be called upon to return. Hey, that doesn't look like Marika at all. That's not a woman. That's a man. So this is Radagon, who we haven't really gotten any info out of yet. Little to nothing, basically. He is Marika's second consort, the second Elden Lord of the Golden Order, after Godfrey and his people were exiled, and he fathered some demigods of his own with Marika. They are specifically Rani, Radon, and Rykard. RRR. Wow, some of them are named G's, and some of them are R's, and some of them are M's. It's almost like some guy with G, R, and M in his initials wrote this shit. Or at least named the characters. Crazy coincidence, isn't it? Got a flask I can upgrade to, which is what I was going to do before we got so distracted by talking about lore. I don't think I fully checked out the demi-human forest ruins. I'm pretty sure I got distracted by the spirit pointing in directions. God, I love the double jump. Elden Ring is by far the most enjoyable to traverse of the FromSoft Souls-like games. Just because you have a lot of options in your traversal. You can traverse really quickly, too. It just feels good to go around. Give me that. Faith Not Crystal Tear. We'll read that when we're not sitting next to enemies. Alright. New Crystal Tear for us, the Faith Knot. Temporarily boost faith. I forgot those don't really have much more lore to talk about than what we got before. That's a huge bitch. Hiya! Look, chat, it's a Bloodborne enemy. Notice their eyes aren't red anymore here with the demi-humans, as they were being controlled by the demi-human queen, who dropped us that staff and the Crystal Burst spell. She didn't really get a chance to cast anything. I murdered her too fast. But let's take a look. Demi-human queen staff. Glintstone staff styled as a scepter. A gift once given to the demi-humans to foster peace. It can be wielded even by those of low intelligence. Sneered at by fools in the academy. Which, by the way, I would agree. You have to be foolish to be like, wow, that marvel of invention that allows the lowest of intelligence people in the world to wield magics. Wow, that's terrible. Stuck up bitch. Look at that. Only 10 in. I can finally cast spells if I want to. Unfortunately, the only spell I have isn't particularly great, so we're just gonna, you know, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Dead. Aw, man. One of these days you'll give me your knife. Maybe. Whee! Okay. Let's move this way. You know, it really goes to show what Miyazaki thinks about magic and magic users in these high fantasy settings, because in every single game, every single one, the magic users are always pompous, stuck-up shitwads that sneer their faces and look down on everyone, with the exception of like 2 people. Oh wow, you're pointing directly at the thing I was already looking at. Thank you for that marvelous hint about where to go. The jellyfish light the way. Hey, we've got some catacombs. Let's equip our catacomb bonking gear, aka a morning star. Hey, I have a stone sword key. Boop. This is clearly a Deathroot catacombs, because we've got skeletons. A cookbook. I love how we can just say something like, we've got skeletons, as though it's a minor infestation. Like, you know, we've got some ants. You can even see some Deathroot, essentially. You can tell it's Deathroot because it looks gross compared to the normal roots. Na. So this guy's a trick. He's literally standing there and in the open in order to get you to run in. Because if you do run in, where'd all the other skeletons go? They're supposed to form. There's supposed to be like several skeletons forming as you run in. Alright, whatever. I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'll appreciate the free run by. Hmm. Right, why would I look at that and expect to see anything? Hey, look, we know where we need to go, because there's the lever statue. We just gotta find our way up there. Ow. Damn. What a badass. He just stabbed me. When in doubt, just grab your arrow and swing it. Poke them with it. Rather have skeletons than the sea? Ah, yes. I, too, do not enjoy see you next Tuesdays. So let's do that trick we did before. Honk. It's a really neat trick, isn't it? Especially because it works from such a long range. Yes, I know what you were talking about. But my joke was funnier before I had to explain it. Thank you. Later, nerds. Ha ha. Oh, ah! My hubris! Okay. Oh my god. Oh my Jesus. That is just such terrible luck. Okay, now before things get too far... I can't hear it saying thank you. Shut up. Thank you. Oh, come on, you. Zoop. I'm probably gonna want to heal before the boss. We took quite a bit more damage than usual. Besides, it's not like it's a particularly long trip from the heal to the boss room. Just a couple flights of stairs. Up. There we go. Now, what's the boss of this one? Hope it's something different than the freaking... It can't be the cats because it's a skeleton. Oh, no, it's you. Uh-oh. I am not a fan. Oh, God. Help. My body. Ah! It's horrible. These things are scary. Got it, though. Oh, I got Lutel the Headless. Another good Ash of War. Legendary Ashen Remains, used to summon the spirit of Lutel the Headless. Spirit of a headless knight who leads the mausoleum soldiers, wields a lance enrobed in death, and hurls spectral lances at foes. Lutel sacrificed her life so that, in death, she could continue to protect a soulless demigod until their revival, earning her the hero's honor of Erdtree Burial. So, if we've been paying attention to the things that we've been told so far, we can actually infer who this soulless demigod might be. Just because we've been told there's only a single demigod that's ever been killed in the lineage of the Golden Horde. Unless they meant soulless like something else. Okay, now that that nightmare monster has been slain, we'll never see it again, right, guys? Never see it again. Ow. Don't smack my horse like that. Oh! Our first avatar. Just making sure there's not like an item over here. Oh, hey, there's a guy over here. Gotta pull out my pruning knife. Behold, this is an Erdtree avatar. Ding ding. They protect minor Erdtrees. Sometimes. By which I mean sometimes minor Erdtrees aren't being protected by them. That's what I mean by sometimes. Yep. My skeleton warriors are fantastic here. Oh, I took a tickle. Finish him! Well done, boys. We get the Opaline Bubble Tier and the Crimson Burst Crystal Tier. So this is usually what's going to happen from now on when we visit minor Erdtrees. There will be a Erdtree avatar for us to kill, and then once we kill it, we get access to whatever the crystal tiers it was sitting on were. So Crimson Burst is just, it gives you regeneration over time, which is okay. And then we've got the Opaline Bubble Tier. Significantly negate damage and mixed physic. A crystal tier formed slowly over the ages where the Erdtree's bounty falls to the ground. Provides significant damage negation, however this effect only occurs once and will expire after a certain duration. It gives you a bubble shield that will absorb 99% of the damage of the first hit you take, and then after that it is useless. Aha. Let's see. Oh, hey. Listen to the beautiful music. Got some opera here. What a beautiful singing voice. Only a monster would step in between this voice and singing. Luckily, I'm a monster. Yeah, I bet you didn't think that beautiful singing voice was coming from that. That disgusting horror monster. Ah, my ears. So this is essentially a harpy. And you can find these horrifying things commonly singing in the company of these vampire bat enemies. You can see it has the face of an old woman, so perhaps at one point it was an old woman before it turned into this monster. It even has its hair braided up, and it has some jewelry in it, which means that there's some level of beauty and dexterity for that, unless, like I said before, this was formerly an old woman that transformed into this monster. Ding dong. Don't think there's anything up on that. It's bong and it's gong. Why is it on fire over here? What'd you guys do? Look at all the smoldering butterflies and stuff because of the fire. Oh, well, that's what they did. I follow the teachings of Smokey the Bear. Only you can murder forest fires. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go the long way around, aren't I? Yes, bears are incredibly mean in this game. That's why I did everything in my power to avoid them. The rune bears, at least. The super giant bears. Regular sized bears are not too bad. You can deal with them without too much issue. But the giant rune bears? Those are nightmares on feet. Nightmares on claws. Dum, dum, dum. Do 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 do. I like how sometimes the sheep roll away from you. So we didn't really talk about the big bing bong over there, but that, as you can see, is a massive walking mausoleum. Also, I'm going to put this to nightfall. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe there is a night only that exists here. Or boss, not invasion. I think I might have missed something. Torrent is not the best horse because Torrent is not a horse. Pointed out before, but he has horns and he has those horizontal pupils, indicating that Torrent is no horse. Closer to a goat or a yak. But Torrent is still a steed. That's why they are very specific to use the word steed instead of horse. Oh, there it is. Thought it was on this ledge, but it's on the ledge below. That's why I missed it. Anywho, wee, ow. The Eclipse Crest Heater Shield. Medium-sized metal shield. The sun in eclipse is said to be the symbol of the wandering mausoleum, where the soulless demigods slumber. So, I want to point out two things. One thing is that the Japanese description of this does not pluralize demigods, so it might be the soulless demigod slumbers, but one way or another, this does give us another hint, another reference to a soulless demigod. And the wandering mausoleums are supposed to be symbols of said demigod's resting place. Never gotten that item before? Yeah, it's hidden well. Perhaps a little too well, even. Because you can look down from up above and not see it. Hey! Remember that new summoning ash we got? About a headless knight that wishes to protect their soulless lord? And here we have spectral headless knights around this mausoleum that we were saying about the soulless demigod? Yes. By the way, here's how you deal with these things. You look for the skulls that are encrusted like barnacles. These are skulls, actual skulls. And you knock them off. And try your best not to get stepped on like that, otherwise you die. Cherno Raiders, hello. Welcome to I Got Stepped On. How are you? Thank you for the raid. Welcome to Elden Ring Lore playthrough. Alright, let's try this again from the top and avoid the death part. Don't you try it. Is there one more? I think there's one more skull. Yep, there we go. It's actually kind of surprising to even feel this, considering it is so massive and whatnot. And made of rock. Here he comes. Make sure to get out from under it. It will drop all the way down and then sink into the ground. Just a little bit. And this is our entryway into the walking mausoleums. Remembrance duplication. So, what this allows you to do is it allows you to take a remembrance of a demigod and then duplicate it. So, gameplay-wise, this is just so that you can, you know how when you kill a Souls boss, you can turn their soul into Weapon A or Weapon B or Armor B or some stuff like that. This lets you get all that in one playthrough for a couple of the souls. And then in the future, on like a New Game Plus, you can easily get all the rest of them, no problem. There aren't enough Wandering Mausoleums to cover all of them, if I recall correctly, so unfortunately, like I said, you do still need to do that New Game Plus, but it does allow you to get a lot more than usual. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the lore behind this place, and the intrigue behind it. So this, as we were told before, is supposedly in honor of the soulless demigod. We'll take a quick peek at the shield again, right? And the eclipse is supposed to be the symbol of the slumbering soulless demigod. And let me tell you this. This right here, this ain't no demigod. This is instead a person who offered themselves up in honor of that soulless demigod. And for some reason, offering yourself up to them means being decapitated. Weird. But either way, they act as some sort of conduit in order to do this duplication, this remembrance duplication. Alright, that's all I wanted to show. There's actually nothing for us to do here. Aside from, look at that. Isn't it neat? You can see there's a lot of headless knights in the area. Spirit knights like this can do that. The disappear, reappear, teleportation. Fourth Church of Marika. Sacred Tear. And look, it's America again. Oh, no Melina talk this time. He doesn't want to talk to us. Oh well. Are the Spirit Knights technically undead like the Bone Bros? Yes, but in a different way. So, this gets a little bit into the lore behind the makeup of the people, but everything is made of both your corporeal body and your spirit, your soul. And the ashes themselves are the souls of former warriors and creatures that have essentially offered their soul up as ashes, or had their souls offered up as ashes, possibly against their will at one point in time for some of them. And thus, they are not part of the cycle of rebirth and reincarnation that is hinted at with the Erd Tree. Because the way that it's supposed to work is you get put into entombed into the catacombs beneath the roots of the Erd Tree. You basically decompose, and as your spirit and body exit life, they are absorbed into the Erd Tree, where it is then recycled into new life, and you are reborn. The ashes, on the other hand, are essentially people that had their spirits removed from their bodies and are outside of that cycle and are instead summonable by these spirit ashes. Meanwhile, those who live in death are those that seem to have forcibly had life injected into their bodies and don't necessarily have their soul anymore, and instead are being brought back by some malign energies. Or their soul was corrupted to such a point that it's now outside of the normal cycle of reincarnation, has been turned into, well, what it is, the skeletons and whatnot. It's a little bit hard to tell exactly how they function and exactly how they differ, and I think that's on purpose. I think the reason behind that is specifically because it's supposed to be a little bit hypocritical. You're supposed to say, well, isn't that just kind of really similar to being undead? By design. Oh, this Everjail is not active. Do I have a stone sword key? I do! Alright, let's go kill whatever's in there. I'm such a good citizen. I'm going to jail and murdering fugitives. I guess they're not fugitives, since they've been captured. Murdering the evil people. Ancient hero of Zamor. Ice. Ow. Ice again. Oh, hey, that's just an ice version of Wrath of the Gods. Oof, that went far. I dare you to try that again. Ah, come on, that's fast. Luckily, it does no damage. Oop. That's the snap. Here he comes. Well, this isn't a normal enemy with a get off me button. It's a boss. It's an ancient hero, even. And it's dead. Radagon Scar Seal. So, this is a really good piece of equipment. An eye engraved with an Elden rune, said to be the seal of King Consort Radagon. Raises vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity, but also increases the damage taken. These seals represent the lifelong duty of those chosen by the gods. So hey, this is not the first time we've seen some significance when it comes to eyeballs. After all, when we saw a little hint of what the Flame of Frenzy is, it manifests itself in eyeballs. Any lore on why he has the Scar Seal? Well, there's two different possibilities. There is either A, he was one of those people that was chosen by the gods to perform a duty. After all, he's an ancient hero. Or B, he's instead someone who took this from someone else who had been given a duty of some sort. We don't have a whole lot of information on Zamor right now, because this is literally the very first thing we have seen about Zamor, so we'll get a little bit more a little bit later. But, basically suffice it to say, you know, let me just tell you, Ancient Hero of Zamor probably was given this by the gods. Horsey? As for why he's in jail, that's a good question. I'm sure we'll find out at some point. Maybe. Possibly. Okay. There should be a couple things we can grab over here. This is where you get the winged scythe, at least. More Trina's lilies. You know, it says that Trina's lilies are supposed to be rare, but I sure do find a lot of them, huh? So nice to see that these rats are healthy and not infested by the frenzy. Is there any lore on those rock ball centipede things? No, they just seem to be constructs that are used as guards of the jail, or watchers of the jail at the very least, considering we're able to walk right in with no big issue. Ouch! Rude. What'd I do to you, dude? I repeat exactly what I said to that other guy that was shooting bombs at me. Rude. What'd I ever do to you? Red branch shortbow. Hey, let's take a peek. Shortbow of polished red wood, fashioned by a master craftsman and wielded by pages. A bow which requires dexterity rather than strength to master. And not infested by the French. Yep, that's what I meant to say. There's the winged scythe. A sacred scythe resembling a pair of white wings. It deals holy damage. According to pagan belief, white-winged maidens are said to be death's gentle envoys. Now, you see, it's kind of weird that they would say that, Because that's going into real world lore and talking about Valkyries. Meanwhile, we are in video game world lore, and as far as I know, Valkyries which come down and herald off warriors to Valhalla don't exist. However, let me equip this. And you can take a peek at it. You can see it is very much just two big white wings. It is a faith scythe. Scales with faith more than anything. Hey, you, get back here. Die. I didn't kill it! Oh, that's bad. Got it. Divine Fortification. Incantation of the Two Fingers Faithful. Increase holy damage negation. Follow the path that has been set for you, and you will make enemies of all others. The monks, the sorcerers, the ancient dragon knights, and the scions of gold. Heed me. The lands between offers no welcome to the tarnished. So I want to point out, this is from the Two Fingers Faithful. The Two Fingers have delivered this message that we don't want no damn dirty tarnished in our land. Let's see. That the dungeon? Could be. Let's go to it. They just call it paganism when they want to add some cool lore that doesn't add up. It's not entirely. Paganism basically refers to a... Actually, you know what? I guess that kind of does make sense. Yeah. Yeah. Tombsword Cave. Here we go. Sometimes they like to add cool-sounding lore that doesn't make sense in the game world because it's more of the, more of the real world. Hold on, let me double-check the definition of paganism, because it might not be a specific kind of religion, and instead be, like, a generalized thing. Spiritual beliefs and practices of ancient polytheistic religions. I think it is supposed to be a little bit of a catch-all as opposed to specific one. I'll let that slide. IRL historically literally meant not Christian. I thought it just meant like not one of the following big religions. It's like Christianity or Judaism or Islam. But if they're going for a definition that basically means polytheism and spiritual stuff, then fine. Speaking of, behold, people that worship poo-poo. Alternate meaning is heathens. That would work as well. So, you can see that these people, when I say they worship poo-poo, I mean they worship poison, rot, stuff like that. I am slowly getting poisoned despite not standing in poison. Okay. Whatever, I don't care. Anyway, these guys are wearing nothing but a little bit of rags, but they are coated in fungus, mushrooms all over their bodies. I guess if you want to worship poison and whatnot, you kind of have to do that, don't you? I don't really mind being poisoned too much. It's not a lot of damage. Just a little damage over time. Just a little bit. Poison Bone Dart. Those are just usables. We'll take a quick peek. Animal bone sharpened into a knife for throwing with a poison-laced tip. Simple as. Look! It's poisonous slime. Why'd the big rat run away? It's probably off to make all the rules. That's what the big rat do. I beat you to it. That's right, Naro. Immunizing white cured meat and a cookbook. Can't see. I was gonna do that. Just so I can see. Another artery leaf. Yay. Okay, yeah, I know what the boss is in this cave now. It's gonna be a big flower. So be prepared for big flower. Oh look, that's where big flower is. Big flower. In a small area, too. Got it. It's not a super tough boss. It's just in a really tiny room, and it's got all its friends, so if you don't use any summon ashes, it's slightly annoying. I have no shame in using those. I won't use them for certain boss fights, just because of it. But still. Okay. We picked up a Viridian Amber Medallion. A medallion with Viridian Amber inlaid. The Erd Tree's old sap becomes amber, treasured as the most precious jewels. Primordial life energy resides within. It boosts max stamina. It's the exact same as the Crimson Amber Medallion, but for stamina instead of health. It's okay. Not that good. Uh, did the Fourth Church of America grabs? I think I just gotta grab the stuff behind it and we're good to go. Then this area will be scraped pretty clean. We'll be done with the Weeping Peninsula soon. Aren't you excited? Because the sooner we're done with the Weeping Peninsula, which remember is called as such because it's always raining here. It's England. We should start calling England the Weeping Peninsula from now on. That's its new real world name. I won't accept any other name. Oh, it's you. Look at that horrifying thing. So, by the way, you can see there's a lot of sorcery going on with that thing. And I said before that Raya Lucaria is more capable of employing the use of puppetry, marionettes, and such, and that's exactly what these are. Those would actually do quite a bit of damage if they were to hit me. Ow. Like that. So as you can see, this is like a bunch of stone masks all pulled together in a ball. And the masks have various designs on them. The eyes all have glintstone in them, and that's how it's able to cast, because glintstone is a catalyst for casting magics, a focus. Oh, cool, I got Marionette Soldier armor on my first try. That's streamer luck right there. As you can see, sometimes the marionettes go a little nutso. It's a little dangerous to be next to them. Alright, it's time to shut you up. Quit it. There we go. So, hey, why was there a magic spell-shooting ball of stone masks guarding this? I bet it has something to do with sorcery. Hello there.
It will do no good, I swear it. And yet you persist. You frothing degenerates!
Hey now, I'm not frothing. If you take a close look here, you can see that the top of the gems inlaid there have been busted open, revealing more gems inside.
It will do no good, I swear it. And yet you persist. You frothing degenerates!
Well then. It's, Interesting that she looks and sounds exactly like Selin. We just learned the Ambush Shard spell. One of the night sorceries of Celia, Town of Sorcery. Launches a projectile from a distance removed from the caster so as to strike the enemy from behind. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly. The Celian sorcerers were assassins, and it is said that they often hunted their fellows. So we found that next to a chained up sorcerer. Makes perfect sense to me. So one of those assassins must have found this lady. Now, she looks and sounds exactly like Selin, but let's go over here and we'll double check. Selin, you okay? Or is that like your twin sister, or,
There you are.
Would you look at
my
that?
Apprentice.
She's
Shall
fine.
we commence the lesson?
If anything, that doesn't seem to be Sorceress Selin at all, or it's her twin sister. It's weird. Weird, huh? What does the map have to say? What, Sorceress Selin? Wait a second. How can there be a Sorceress Selin here? And a Sorceress Selin here? Now you just hold on a gosh darn second there, map. What are you trying to pull here? Hello there, Ghost Man. Oh, there it is. The tower. Finally, I can return to our home bathed in rays of gold. So, I believe this is a wandering spirit that wishes to return to the cycle of the Erd Tree. Our home bathed in rays of gold. Is this a Nurse Joy situation, or I don't know? It's a good question, huh? However, for those of you paying attention to that what this does mean is that there is something fishy going on here with this Selin lady. Something fishy. At the very least, for one reason or another, assassins were hired to go after her. I mean, we did learn that she's been exiled from the Academy of Rhea Lucaria. However, I guess we never asked how exiled she is. She seems to be really, really exiled.
Well, there's been an age since I've seen a customer.
Nice,
How can I help here? At
nice
the
faceplate
end of
there,
the
buddy. The isolated merchant. Hey, we can buy a lantern attached to the waist to illuminate your surroundings. Give me. 2 stone sword keys. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 stone sword keys. Thank you, sir. The Zweihander. Just about the largest sword that a mere man is capable of swinging. True to its name, it is designed to be wielded in both hands, but those of merely ordinary strength will still struggle to do so. The longer blade is heavy and sharp, sending foes reeling back with its broader strokes, while it is also capable of a devastating piercing thrust. So this has always been a, like, big misconception about things. How much do you guys think a Zweihander weighs? If you were to take what the Souls series has going on, you would expect to, you would expect for a Zweihander to be fucking heavy. Hugely heavy. It weighs like 9 pounds, 10 pounds maybe. You guys saying 20 pounds? You're overestimating it. Remember, swords, even things that are ceremonial and whatnot, are meant to be wielded by Lots and lots of people. Pretty much anyone. And they're meant to be swung around with technique and capability rather than just kind of swinging as hard as you can, especially if it's a war weapon. Because you gotta be fast, or else someone faster is just gonna stab your ass and you'll die. So the thing about the Zweihander and it being unwieldy and difficult for people to wield in real life isn't because it's so heavy it's hard to pick up. It is instead because it's really long. And so when you swing it, it carries all that momentum with it, and thus it becomes hard to wield and feels heavier than a normal sword because you have to pull back that extra momentum in order to continue to make feints, counterattacks, that kind of stuff. Swing a different direction, everything. To stop yourself from swinging. Anyway, let's buy this Zweihander. I don't need those. Actually, wait, those are smithing stone too. I do need those. And then we have the Lost Ashes of War. Empty Ashes of War devoid of any memories of battle. Unable to apply any kind of affinity in their current state, but they can be used by Smithing Master Hugh of the Round Table Hold to recreate other ashes. Thus does the copy pass into becoming the genuine article. That's kind of impressive. You're essentially bestowing a memory of a technique onto a blank slate and creating a perfect copy of it. That's really impressive. How do you do that, Smithing Master Hugh?
Have a safe journey.
Magic. There is one thing that is over here, but I don't want to touch it too much right now. Just because of not wanting to accidentally trigger anything. There's one specific event in the game called the Radon Festival that I am desperate to not trigger, because the second that triggers, a lot of stuff auto-progresses and or goes past the point of being able to complete, depending on what it is, a couple of things at least. I don't think that would trigger it, but just in case, I'm not going to go over here. There's a chest that has a trap on it that will teleport you to another area. There's a few of those in the game. Patches gave us our first taste of it, because that one just teleports us to a place we've been. Not a big deal. But there's another chest I avoided at Agheel Lake that teleports you to Caelid. This one would teleport us to Leyndell, which is on the Altus Plateau. And we're just trying not to accidentally trigger stuff. So, at this point, I believe we are to go here. Actually, I could technically go to the Caelid one and we'd be fine. You know what? Yeah, let's go accidentally stumble, quote unquote, into the Caelid trap. We'll go to Caelid. We'll sit down once. We'll unlock the Round Table Hold. Everything should be nice and not broken if I do that.
It's time you set off. I should